Team, checking in with you this morning on my way into work. You've got the usual ambient sounds of Shoreditch High Street / Great Eastern Street traffic, rush hour. I hope you're enjoying it. Today I want to give you some tips for the smartphone. So, I like the saying about, you are the average of the 5 people you hang around the most. I think it's very relevant. You see a lot of superstars actually promote that a lot because people are a big believer in you are a product of the environment within which you are brought up in, and also the people around you impact you. They impact your vibe, your thoughts, your actions. You've got to make sure your setup is strong. You've got a lot of people who are pushing you forward, saying, yeah, go on, you can do that, or try that, or yeah, absolutely, why not, crack on, smash it, that kind of thing. You've got to be looking for. And when you find people who do that for you, get them around you, keep them close, don't push them away. Same thing goes for just general communities, general areas in which you can live. If the vibes, depending on how you want to live your life, if it supports the way you want to live, then go all in on that, stay there, and soak it all up. The one thing I want to talk about is the idea of the 5 closest people around you, but the idea of the 5 closest people around you through your smartphone. Because I know for me, and maybe it does for you, this changes depending on where I'm spending my time on my smartphone. Depending on whether I'm spending it on Facebook, on Snapchat, on Instagram, on Google, on YouTube, all these different places. Totally depends where I'm spending this time and then who I'm hanging around with. So I think one of the most important things you can do is figure out what you're trying to do on each platform and vet, audit who you're looking at. On Insta, who you're scanning down the feed at. I mean, Instagram, for a lot of people, is one of those things where it's not always your friends you're following, it's the influencers. It's either, the good-looking health influencer, or the beauty products person, or the travel person. But think about this as well. Like, what if you have an objective, whatever that may be. It could be, if you're doing the travel influencer, maybe you do want to go traveling yourself, or maybe if you are wanting to get fitter, maybe you're looking at the health influencer a lot. Key thing I think people do often is they get in a mode where the people that they're following are actually encouraging them just to stay passive. And the way the person, the user, is consuming the content, make sure they stay passive and don't actually do the thing they need to. Which I would say, a lot of these people, if you just dip in, taste what they offer, taste the techniques, have a look at them, and then apply them. Classic fire engine through the middle of the podcast, love it. But don't just sit there passively looking at these people. If they help you out, yeah, spend time with them, but just spend enough to get the info you need in order to actually execute and do the stuff that they're clearly doing to allow them to live that lifestyle or demonstrate that skill, such as good health. The second thing is, this idea of living vicariously through other people. You as a user, they're going to put out content because they're just trying to help. They're just trying to show an area of their life that they're good at or that they enjoy. And yeah, a lot of them make money through it, and that's their living, and that's why they can do what they do. I'm talking about, say, Instagram influencers here. But you really have to take the initiative as the user to figure out, how's the best, or what's the best way I'm going to spend my time on these platforms, and be really strict about that. Don't just scan away, wasting away the time on stuff that really is just passive update, and it's you who's doing that. There's so much content out there. I could spend the rest of my life scrolling through Instagram if I wanted to, and I probably, depending on my threshold, would probably still put up some eye-catching content, some stuff that's interesting, sparkles a bit, stuff like that got my attention, and I would never get bored. So I think you really need to figure out, how do you control your time on these platforms and make them ladder up to your goals? How do you make sure that the people on these platforms that you are following and are spending time on are actually supporting you and pushing you forward in what you actually want to do, rather than just looking at what they're doing and not actually doing any of it for yourself? If you don't want to do any of it and you just want to be a passive consumer of content and live your life like that, I haven't got an issue with that. What I do have an issue with is if you then say you want to do that stuff, but you're not prepared to do the work behind it, and you just want to sit there and you say you've got no time because you're looking at all these other Instagram-y kind of stuff. That's a problem. And you know how to fix it. Stop looking at it. Do it. You know what to do. You've looked at their stuff long enough. Do it. Execute the plan. Don't just sit there passively looking through random stuff. Social media, the smartphone, it's one of the big traps I think people are falling into and are going to fall into for a long period of time, and it's like a little whirlpool. When a ping pong ball gets stuck in under a tap, it will just stay there getting pummeled, and it can't move because it just keeps on getting pummeled by the content. And the only way it can move is someone just comes and slaps it out the way and moves it out from the direct waterfall of the tap head. And that's what I'm hoping to do here, is just get you to reconsider. This smartphone thing, there are people down the other side, and it's who you're spending time with, whose stuff you're consuming, which really matters. See each one of them as a friend, and if they're one of your 5 closest, or the 5 you're spending the most time on, depending on what platform you're on, you better make sure that they're doing stuff that's positive for you and helps you out. Because if they're not, you're going to end up in the same place as the guy 50 years ago who hung around with the 5 people that just dragged her down and didn't support her in what she wanted to do. And 20 years after that, you live with a bit of regret that you could have gone for it, you could have done that, you could have tried it, you could have at least tested it, whatever that thing is. Or you should have put more effort in, paid more attention. No regrets. Make sure whatever you're doing, go all in. Get the environment right, both in real life and on your smartphone, on the online world. And you're going to be in a real good spot. The quicker you can do that, the quicker you can get yourself to think about it in that way, wow, you're going to go up real quick. Things are going to get good. And I'm excited.